Guys, hi again. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know, it's me, Kos, aka SimplyKos. First of all, I just want to say thank you for my new subscribers, for those who tuned into my channel, for those who watched my last video. I appreciate the love, the support. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Don't know what you're waiting for. Just, go ahead and do that thing, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so this video actually is a video that I did about a year ago with my uncle and my aunt. I didn't know I was gonna post it, but I figured I might as well share, all the knowledge that I gained with my aunt and my uncle. So I'm just gonna kind of carry you along with that video and just kind of explain what was going on or why I asked certain questions. And just kind of explain certain things a little bit more, just because in the video you will see or you will hear most of them speaking Igbo, and I didn't subtitle everything, but thankfully they were speaking Igbo, so we will be able to, you can make out what they were trying to say, what they were saying. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Here I was asking my uncle why certain villages, families live in open space. If most of you guys are Nigerian, specifically Igbo, just because Igbos are very big with their ancestral home or their villages. Some villages are very open in the sense that everyone from the same forefathers, or from the same forefathers, the same patriarchal, whatever you want to call it, we call it omana. They all live in the same compound, or just like on the same block, okay, if you were to liken it to here. So, but if you go to certain villages, especially like my mom's village, my mom is from Igbo, that's in Anambra State. Everything is gated. Everyone, it's like one family per gate. Now, in my grandfather's house, you do have like my uncle's house, which is next to my grandfather's house, but it's not really common. But then when you go to my husband's house, it's like everyone, before people start putting up their gates, everyone just kind of lived like in the same, it's like you literally like walk next door, that's your uncle, that's your grandfather's brother, that's this and that. So I was curious to understand why that is. Like, why is that okay when you go to Anambra, like it's a lot of gates, and these gates are huge, like, I mean, they are huge. But then you go to certain places, like my father's place, which is in Imo State. I mean, like my father's place is literally like, it's a town of the same relatives or the same people. So my maiden name is Odemene. If you go to my father's place, I mean, like everyone is Odemene. Like there's no, and it's just thing as neighbor. Your neighbor could be your brother, could be your grandfather's brother, could be anybody that has that last name. And because it's such a big family, my grandfather had 36 kids. I can tell that story later. So you can already imagine it's a large family. So any moment that last name came from the same patriarch, came from the same man, came from one man. So it's interesting to see how certain places still maintain that communal living, and other places, when they got a little bit more money, a little bit more educated, or whatever you want to call it, they decided to separate themselves from each other. So I wanted to understand why that was.
Say that again. You say in Enugu.
Hane bikotono. How will you kill 10 families, 5 families together?
They're not the same family.
Because even in Chinedu's village, it's all one family.
Yeah, that's what
but
I'm saying.
In one.
Okay, for like this area in Okita, this area, crease them. Obu Nenugu, Ndani Naga, one papagi or uncle, from your father's side. So there may be about 10 families bleed together. Do you understand? But in our area, we don't live together.
Why is that? Again.
Well, again, maybe that's how, I don't know, but that's how we grew up.
They grew up.
In my place now,
And safe.
once you grow up, you have to go and find your own plot of land. Well, not that you have to go and develop your own. Maybe they give you, well, if your father were plot,
But now buying, I don't know.
but
Enugu
State and Imo and some part of Imo too,
That
they
one.
live together.
Yeah, I mean, you see, like, them in a compound.
Yeah,
Now,
you can see
you
every-
enter there. It's just everyone there. It's all them in there. I was like, whoa, that's a lot.
This is the city of Odem.
I know,
It's
yeah,
no
and
more
then
a village,
yeah, it's not because even Francis was telling that you can go all the way to the market, now here, and it's all of them and on that road, and I was like, wow, that's
how our people
That's what
people live. But now people are beginning to fence their buildings. One.
So
like,
no,
for
now what I
security.
was trying to explain.
Even though
now you
it
can-
makes it feel
Distant,
little
yeah.
No,
distant.
you can see why. If you live together, you can afford not to fence your house. Because but if you are only you, check an example. The whole of this empty land, it's also a billionaire. You are more exposed to danger because you are the only person living here.
yeah.
But if there are 5, 6, 7 houses, you are more secluded. So that is why in our place we try to fence our place because when you want to be independent, so when you must wall your compound. You must wall your compound. Unlike Nimo or Nenugu. But
It's different.
And some part of Anambra too,
well, maybe
like Ufuma area.
Where's the Puma?
Ufuma is between between Anambra and Enugu.
Okay,
But
so
you
the
see-
places that border.
Exactly, it's on the border, so they.
Yeah, because we have the same topography and culture, similar culture, so they live together.
Interesting. I like the living together.
Yeah.
I like the living
So
together
if
thing.
Well,
but the
remember-
thing is now bringing disunity, so to speak.
Remember,
So
in the
order to avoid
1930s,
it,
in the 1920s, 40s, even 50s, people had this but you see here now, you get up, you are madam, madam, shifo, or say, na nwa gị ji emekwa nke a, nwa onye nke a ji emekwa nke a. Ma ọ bụ why ji wee zee eziza for ebe a, why ji, all those, ma why ji je kulu mmiri. But so now people are becoming more segregated. So because of it, onye ọbụla chọzie, this is my own compound, Obiko. So that if you come inside there, but if it's not walled, if I see a pot of
you will
water,
just go there
I'll
and-
just go deep water.
Yeah, that's how Chinese auntie used to say, like, back in the day, like, everyone ate from the same pot. Everyone ate from the same pot.
like na
Everyone ate
Christmas
together.
like this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Niku.
I battle too, because of course we are coming from the town, so it's expected we'll provide Ihejaba Christmas. You understand? So it's the same pot, the same egwu-onwa
Gatacha. Yeah, wow.
the same rice, the same the same pot.
Yeah.
Kage is a GC. But now
But you see, it's civilization.
I think it's
I know.
civilization.
Even
It's the
even
price
here,
we'll pay for
yeah,
it.
it's the price. See, even here now, you see it in a family. Sometimes you don't talk. But okay, if you guys used to do it, you said the informer, is he coming? Meanwhile, informer talking about
Is who coming?
No, I mean you.
Oh,
are
texting the same person in the same room.
Just
Coming,
exactly.
coming,
informer. But instead of doing it,
I know.
So it made us to be a little bit
Distance from each other. Yeah,
So sometimes the price we pay for civilization.
that's true. That's
That's the
true.
price we pay for civilization. Unfortunately, it's not good. But what do you do?
So back in the day, people were named based on the market days. So I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with Ghanaians. They tend to be named based on the day that you were born. Yeah, so the names like Kofi, names like Ajwa, names like Aqua. I know my Ghanaian name. Yes, I do. Names like Kwame. So those are all based on the day that you were born. Igbos, you also have the same thing as well, but it's not. I guess it's the same thing as days too, but just your market days. So for us, it's Eke, Orie, Afo, and Nkwo. All right, so it's 4 market days. And your name was given to you based on the day that you were born, right? So like for instance, my grandfather's name is, now this is an old practice, not many people still do it, but the last names kind of take on that same principle, just because, okay, these are names that were passed down, so obviously they will continue that tradition. My grandfather's first name is Okeke. His Igbo name is Okeke, which means a man, literally means a man born on Eke Day. My grandmother's name is Mbeke, which literally means a woman born on Eke Day. And now that I think about it, my grandparents were born on the same day. Funny, right? And now when you say Mbeke, Mbeke is like it's just a name, like a Raz name. Like when I was in boarding school, whenever they call someone Mbeke, that person is just a egwu-onwa or a Jew guy. Like they don't have any, you know what I'm saying? That was the origin of our names, right? And every village has a specific market day, right? So this market day is the day that people go out to buy and to sell, right? So I was asking my uncle, or did I ask? I'm not sure I asked, but I don't know how the conversation came up, but I was asking my uncle, I was telling him about like, okay, like my husband's, their market square, like they call it Ekudi, okay? Eke-udi, right? And my own is Nkwo Igbo, right? But we just call the place Nkwo, you call the place Eke. So my uncle was telling me that no, that the reason why these names are, or these places are called these names is because of the market day. So for us, our market day is Nkwo. My husband's people, the market day is Eke. And there's another place another big market that people go to in Enugu on Afo Day. It's called Obolafo. But it's called Obolafo because the name of the town is called Obolo. And then the market day is called Afo. So these towns or these locations will adapt the market day. And then other villages will also go to buy and sell on other villages' market day to make more money. So it's so interesting to hear the history and understand why, you know, most people have certain names. Like I'm sure everyone has a friend. If you're Nigerian or if you're Igbo, everyone has a friend whose last name is Nwankwo. Nwankwo is like the Smith of America, I guess, or African Americans or the Browns or like those common names. But it literally just means a child born on Nkwo Day, okay? And that became a last name because back then fathers would give, I think people still do that, fathers would give their children their first name. Like my maiden last name is my father's first name to identify whose child that is. Actually really cool, is interesting. So you tend to have a lot of Okafos, Okekes, Nwankwos as last names. I know some of y'all be like, Nwankwo, all right, cool, but it's Nwankwo. Him and my aunt giving more insight about, you know, the meanings of those names and what those names signifies to different villages. So, you know, if you're Igbo and, you know, you're curious, because I'm very curious. I'm very, very curious if you have not figured out. Like, I will ask questions. I will sit down with my elders and I want to gather all the information I can. Ask your parents, ask your father or your mother if they're willing, if they're living by God's grace, what your market day is. You know, what is the origin of your people, the origin of your last name. I think it's so important to know where your name comes from. And talking to a lot of people, I learned a lot of people, or some people that I've talked to, their fathers or their grandfathers changed their last name because of the meaning associated with it, and they don't want that to be associated with their lineage to come after them, so they created a whole new name. So I mean, you just never know. I think it's so important to know the origin of your name, be it your first name, be it your last name, whatever name you are bearing, because I feel like names are powerful. Names literally are a virtue. They can define your future. They can define your destiny, because I mean, that is what people are calling you. So if you don't know me, I'm like an Igbo name connoisseur. I love Igbo names. Like, I research it, find ways to put them together. I admire it. I write it down.
Yes, that's where we had to.
Again, is their market.
Oh, okay, and that's Nenugu.
The name of the place is
Ubolo.
Ubolo. That's all.
Oh, Obolo. Okay. One of the girls there, she went to market for meat, but she went to that place to buy something. Obola, yeah, to buy
from Woody. From Woody.
What when we came back to Enugu City.
Okay,
from Enugu, yeah.
See,
she took transport.
You see now, each village will market in Keha, but was a bigger one. Just like Ubola. If you pass Ubola every day, on market day, on Afo day, the population now they higher.
Yeah.
Because people now people they see here and there, here, because it's their market is Afo. So their market, many
That's
more people.
So cool.
There,
It just really clicked to me, because I mean, you know, I heard Onkwa, you know, growing up. I know Mama kanga Onkwa, but it just really clicked to me that the reason why that place is called Onkwa is because that's the market day, Onkwa.
You know,
because I remember passing,
like Nabanyi, you know, that's actually
yes.
and then the buku na bekweba
so that is the thing about it. Nobi na Azua.
Nobi, isn't that Anambra?
Nobi, yes, Anambra, just after Nobi, near us. How on Azua? So people will go to Afo, you know, Hazucha Afo. The following day, they will come to Buku
to continue shopping
or selling, you know.
Interesting.
To continue
wow.
selling, actually.
Come and sit down,
shopping, so to say, you know. So that's the thing about.
Wow.
So each village
their own market days.
Then sometimes that market analysis, like in the book now, but I can you know, it's not necessarily the market.
Yeah, it's not the place.
Exactly.
It's just.
No, it's not the market there.
It's just okay. Yeah, because I remember, like, as we're driving to the church, like towards the church, I remember that square. I said, okay, this is Nkwa. I know where we are. Nkwa Igbo. Yeah, I was like, okay, I know where we are, but not realizing that that's just.
No, yeah. So the market. So you're trying to put
that's like that's like the landmark.
Exactly, just go to that area. But on a particular day, the market then you see crowd. People will come from
all over the village.
From many villages to come and do their
own shopping. Wow, interesting. The history of our people.
Enugu is known for their palm wine. I mean, their palm wine does actually taste different from the palm wine that I knew growing up. And it's all about the agriculture, topography, the types of trees. Whenever we would go home during Christmas, which was like every year, very often, one thing I do remember is once we get home, once we open the gates to enter into the kitchen, my grandmother would have the apple there just waiting for us to come and remove the fruits, which would be used to either make ofako or they would send it to the machine so it can be processed into palm oil. So I'm used to seeing that. So I just thought, I had this, mindset because I didn't really go to many villages growing up. You just go to your own village and then you go to, your next door neighbor, but it's the same thing. You see the same exact thing. But when I went to my husband's place, I realized, I've not seen apple. Like I've not seen any palm fruit or, any of that. I wonder why that is, because I thought that, first of all, everyone has it growing in their backyard like we did. So you just call the palm guy to come and, bring it down, and so that so that you can go ahead and process it and use it for whatever you need to use it for. They also make green soap out of it. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with the green soap. They also use it to make oil for the body, and then palm oil for the foods that we eat. So I'm like, where are these people getting their palm oil from? Are they buying it? Do they buy it every time? So I was curious and I didn't really know who to ask. So when I came back, I asked my uncle, like, hey, Uncle Nekwa, like, why didn't I see this? So he goes on to say,
like I said, in Udi, I'm sure what they have mainly is ngwo.
What's ngwo?
That's what I'm trying to say. Ngwo is like you may not know the difference. Is the same palm wine technically, but it's called raffia palm actually. It's raffia palm. That one, the tree is like the normal palm tree which you know, but it's quite different. It's quite different.
You know what, honey?
Like zinc, local zinc.
Okay.
So there are two different. Then that one, it does not fruit. The ngwo, it does not fruit. But that means what do you call it?
Interesting.
Well, I don't know if you said it. I don't know if you said it, but it doesn't produce oil.
So the palm oil that we eat. How come Mama ever make palm oil?
Mama? Sure.
Okay,
No,
okay, get an engine.
Back in those days, every family had car.
I know,
it's more laborious.
yeah.
But now,
There's no need.
there's no need. Some people still do. So, but there's a place, almost a machine that does
it for it. Interesting.
So all very few people can Nigeria will learn. But otherwise, they take them to the machine. So you take the machine. After the machine has processed, it loses your man again. So,
Okay.
No, so mama still gets oil now. They might call it with man.
Yeah, because when we went to Ibuku, there was so much aqua.
And you need to get that home. You don't plant such trees like palm trees.
Yeah, because there's no room.
Because
there's no room.
There's no room. And then the unko, the ungwo, the upper rafter.
Yeah, raffia again.
It's by the stream.
Oh, by the water, because it needs to be by the water.
Unlike palm tree you don't need water. But
so
raffia, you only see like animal. We don't have raffia
because there's no water. We don't live by the water.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
But you people are Oji River.
Yeah.
So like your place, mainly the Chinedu their
Yeah,
place.
Udi.
Yeah, he showed me a stream that they used to go to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. So a stream that they used to go to like fetch water, and it's said to have like mineral properties. So somebody like one of their people, he made into like a business. So he's bottling the water to sell it, which is cool. Yeah. So anyway,
like that stream, in those days, people were going to stream, but now.
Yeah, people don't. There's only food. There's only.
You don't go to
Now you
stream.
just call water person to come and pump water. Or a tanker.
If you don't have a borehole, if you can drill a borehole, you do.
But it used to be
If you
fun.
can't,
Yeah, that's what he said. He said it was very fun. Yeah.
Very early
That's
in the
what
morning.
Chinedu said.
Before
Chinedu like.
for 5 o'clock, una go go meeting.
Yeah.
You know, and you just have to, call, okay, all the
kids.
children, yeah,
With buckets.
Africa, with buckets, guinea,
eat it.
Oh yeah, the clay pot. The clay pot. That thing's heavy.
What do you mean heavy?
It's not heavy.
It's heavy.
In those days now,
It's not.
there was no fridge. So no,
and that's what kept it cool.
Good. Each of you had joy. You just need to have done somewhere. You know, it was fun. But all those things.
Yeah,
I know, and I feel bad for the children growing up today because they don't get to enjoy the things that made.
Like you people, you didn't see that.
We didn't see, but we saw some.
Sure,
You know,
yeah,
I went to boarding school. We had to fetch water. We had to go to go and fetch water.
Oh yeah, like
but it wasn't. Yeah, because we're in a village, so it was we didn't get from Anambra. We got it in Abia State.
Yeah.
You know, or even just being able to just play outside and just go from house to house.
Yeah.
These days, it's hard to do that. Kids are not able to do that these days.
In the village in those days, there's what they call egwu-onwa. Egwu-onwa simply means at night.
At
like
night?
this,
Oh,
like
yeah.
evening.
Moonlight stories.
I remember, like, at least you've heard about moonlight story. Yes.
But
The moonlight tales and the moonlight or moonlight dance or story or gathering, let me put it that way, in a market square.
Market
actually
square.
market square.
Not necessarily, you know, in a square jikoro, a compound.
Yeah, because each compound now we have like what they may now. They may have one.
Yeah, they have one.
They have one. So in the evening like this, all the kids
All the
will
kids
come.
Oh, wow,
come,
really?
They
and
tell
the
stories.
elders will
They
be
tell
telling them
stories.
Really?
Yeah.
But those things are
Yeah.
not good now.
That's so sad.
Just met fun.
And then it just united people, keep people in one.
I should be asking you people why people did not maintain it, the generation.
Well, I've told you, it's civilization.
But who asked you to follow? Why didn't you people decide we'll preserve certain things of what makes us
See,
Necessarily,
civilization. Let me explain. There are
blaming
so-
civilization?
Eh?
How long will you blame
Hold on.
civilization for?
Hold on, my dear. Civilization.
The people, they
Look,
never
it
grew
was-
up or lived in the village per se.
It
Let me
was.
put it that way.
Look at,
So
there are
that
so many
is-
things. In those days, terrorism was not much.
Guinea.
Terrorism. I seen it. What
Guinea with terrorism.
terrorists.
Oh, terror.
Well,
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily terrorists in this.
Colonization.
Not necessarily, but thieves.
Okay.
So even at night, so going out at night,
Terror-
going out at night
Oh,
is
you
a
bro.
problem. People, if happen to now is a problem. So you're not sure what you're going to meet. Unlike in those days, things were.
It was
relatively
much safer. Yes. You're right.
So,
You're right.
So because of it, why should I ask my kids? You're not sure. You're not sure what will happen. One of your enemies, one of your friends will be watching.
That's true.
They can kidnap them.
And that's like also here too. Like I remember like growing up, it was so easy to see kids playing outside without their parents. Like I remember growing up, you would just go as long as you come back home once the street lights are on. But now these days, it's so hard to like it's so rare to see kids playing outside alone without their parents because
will be by the side.
watching them because people are crazy.
Sure,
you
yeah.
have people that are kidnapping children. So I guess
That's why I said
That's so
it's
sad.
Civilization. Those are the prizes I ain't gonna happen for civilization because I mean it's a civilization that caused us to know that you can kidnap, you can do all those things. So the good and bad of civilization because civilization has its good and bad.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that is why some of those things CG were reducing. People don't go out at night again.
Yeah, because I remember, in Igbo land, everyone is so like, oh, make one show no not no game.
Exactly.
Change kwana.
Yeah.
You know.
Only on saying 6 I could go natakwa.
Before it
Because
gets
you don't know
it's
what
so
is unlike
it's so
in those
sad. Oh
Now,
There's
man.
no freedom.
So
Quotes now.
like you said, why should in those days people now got stream early in the morning or late in the evening they'll go to the stream. We were doing it too, and the stream is relatively far. Yeah, it's sometimes when I wonder how we would did this thing, I never knew. So but now nobody does that kind of a thing again. I'm now some of those streamers can just do yourself because virtually everybody was now anywhere borehole or fetch water
or tanker.
Somehow so nobody wants to stress it him or herself. Then you ask yourself, and even how many buckets of water, how many in the house.
That's
I don't
true.
know how we are managing it. Because, like us, we can't go to the stream 2 times in a day.
Again.
The distance.
Oh, okay. I'll take her.
The distance, don't take her. So by the time at least it was taking us to Anywa, like from Igbo to Ebe Mlidi. It will take us not less than 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a whole day job.
Wow.
So you go and get water. Check any. What are you going to carry that distance?
Interesting.
So in that, then, so everybody will be economizing it. Well, the water you could have locally drinking water. You can have some other water. No, I know why we take a oh, I genuinely when you go now, but you will million go. You can use a million to water.
Give me $1 million.
Million is we dig well.
Okay.
The water is brownish.
Yeah.
It's brownish, So it's as good as dirty, but you still use it.
It's funny.
But when not clear anyway, some on me not clear.
And on
In those,
I guess you're immune to it.
Good. That's
your body's immune
those
to
are
it.
Things about civilization. Now, if you're a you do hand like this. You
that's
do
true.
hand like this. You don't want to touch it. But in those days, people drink it even. You are talking about.
You kind of choice. What the?
Everything good.
You kind of choice.
That is the right word. You kind of choice. But now, because you have a choice, if you check here. So,
like now people are so anal, like, oh, they only like it was so interesting to see how many people like pretty much the only water you can drink or that people do drink is just bottled water.
Bottled water, yeah.
And I was like, what did I remember back in where we would boil our water and we'll put it inside the filter, yeah, and we'll drink that. Now it's like bottled water.
Yeah.
I'm like, just wasting.
Well,
but I mean, I guess it's not
No.
wasting.
No.
I mean, I don't know what it is.
What
I don't
is
know what it
wasting?
is.
Because people will not finish one bottle.
That's the thing,
then
and that
stop.
was the thing. People will not finish water.
Because it's relatively cheap. That is part of it. I agree with you, but what do you want people to do? Now, the truth is that
Even
I pick a bottle of water.
The boiling water, the one you boil yourself.
It is cleaner because you know what's here,
Sure, but yes, I agree with you. You always think about if you are alone, if you are 2 and 3. But by the time you do 4, 5, 6, 10 in the house, what quantity are you going to be making?
And you also
time?
have to think of gas.
Yeah, I mean, you think of so many things.
Yeah, you
Even
think
the
of
time
gas.
for you to do that.
Like, keep asking the questions. Like
Sure.
asking our parents because they may not know
They may
to
not
share.
Good.
Because they just kind of, I don't know.
So
But
what they know is you do this. Just go ahead.
It's like they expect you to know, but so it's us, like for us younger to just ask the questions, like, okay, like daddy, like what does nkwa mean? Mommy, like, okay, how was it growing up in your time? Like, so that we can be able to pass down those stories and find ways to, keep it going and passing it down to the next generation to come. So yeah, I'm glad, you guys, this video sparked conversation. Because if not, I would not have known most of the things you guys were talking about. Or I've heard of it or understood it. So I'm happy that at least this conversation took place.
Yeah, so this is the end of it. And I just wanted to encourage you guys, no matter where you're from, it's so important to take advantage of your elders. It's so important to take advantage of the people that came before you. They have a lot of wisdom to pass down. There's a lot of assumption between both generations, right? Our generation, our parents' generation. I guess our parents assume that we should know the things that they do, and we assume that our parents should just tell us. But someone has to have the courage to ask those questions, to be inquisitive. If you guys know me, y'all will know I am very, very curious person, okay? So if you have to run, you know that you need to run, okay? So I've always been an inquisitive person. I've always been curious. I was the kid growing up in Nigeria. Whenever my uncles were around or we had guests, I would be that kid in the living room, just absorbing the conversation, absorbing the banter, absorbing the knowledge that's being transmitted between both parties. And it always fascinated me. And I realized that our parents are pretty much the last generation, in my opinion, I might be wrong, please correct me. They are the last generation who have the knowledge that our grandparents did, who have more knowledge of our culture, of our traditions, of our values. And I want to grab as much of that as I can before, you know, their time comes. I want to be able to pass that down to my children to come, and they pass that down to their children. I would encourage them to do that, because, you know, when you don't pass culture down, when you don't pass traditions down, that is how we lose the preservation of culture. And we need to preserve what we have. We've lost a lot of it due to colonization, due to civilization. But after a while, you have to get to a point where you stop blaming all these things, okay? You have to say, okay, well, how am I going to change this narrative? Okay, how am I going to make this narrative beneficial to me? So leave your comments down below if you enjoyed this video. First of all, if you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, please share, comment down below. Let's make this interactive. Let's get this community going, y'all. Like, let's not just, you know what I'm saying? So just do all that, and I will appreciate you guys. Please remember that God loves you. Keep fighting the good fight. You know, your season is coming. Just stay motivated, stay focused, and love y'all.